welcome back to GFF and Friends, the podcast. The podcast for stupid babies.
Stupid babies need the most attention.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I am your host, Gay Fat Friend, a.k.a. Todd. And joining me, as always, is my teeny tiny, adorable, microscopic, stupidest baby, Rob.
I do need a lot of attention.
You do need a lot of attention. Hi.
Hi. I even have a pin on my backpack that declares me to be a stupid baby.
You are, because you need the most attention.
That's true.
If you're wondering what we're talking about, it's from The Simpsons. It's a Simpsons quote.
Yes.
9 times out of 10 in this house, if we say something and you're like, what is that? It's a Simpsons quote.
Yeah.
And the reason we're quoting Simpsons so much right now.
Because what a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
Disney Plus has finally added a non-stop broadcasting?
It's a non-stop live stream.
It's a non-stop live stream of The Simpsons. It's all Simpsons all the time.
And
right now...
Yeah, the way they kicked it off is with a chronological series playthrough.
Yeah.
And I believe right now, so what we're in...
What did they call that when it was on TV?
It was the FXX Marathon.
That's the word.
But yeah, so let's see here. We're currently in the year 2004 based on the end credits. That makes it season...
Say 13? 14?
15.
Okay. Because, yeah, it says, like, the
14,
season
15,
and the
yeah.
episode, while it's airing. If you pause, it'll say it. But it's honestly something we've been wanting for the longest time because, like, we do love a good season playthrough. We will just do that on our own quite often. But there's something about somebody broadcasting it and taking away all the work of having to decide which episode to watch.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to we leave it on all day. It's literally on wake up to go to bed.
Yeah.
It's on all day as background noise. And it's so fun to walk into a room and just be like, what episode is on right now? And it's so funny.
And like Simpsons Roulette is so good where even if it's kind of like a meh episode, hey, give it 22 minutes, it's over. Like it's kind of great. And even then at 22 minutes, like it's funny just even having it on as background noise, just like the music, the voices, like there's just a certain sort of soundscape that The Simpsons creates, even if you're not totally paying attention to it, that just feels very comforting, I think, for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's been kind of magical. And I love the idea of like a full chronological run through. Obviously, they're going to see a dip in viewership in later seasons. We will still be along for the ride because we're cool like that.
But the best part is after this full series marathon, then it's going to be...
Well, we don't know yet. But
I don't think they're going to restart the series over again.
It makes sense just to not
then
keep
I
doing
think it's just going to be
chronological.
random.
Yeah, and I'm assuming they'll do random with themed stuff, or like, in October they'll just up the Treehouse of Horror episodes significantly.
Yeah, they might have somebody programming the episodes.
Yeah, because like one of my favorite things, and I talked about this 1,000 years ago, like when we had DirecTV, I and DVR, I recorded every episode of The Simpsons that aired, which at the time there were 3 episodes that were airing.
DVR.
Yeah, 3 episodes that aired every single day on like normal Fox syndication. Not even, we're talking like this is pre-FXX, which had a lot of Simpsons playing every day. But like at the time, I was recording like 3 episodes a day, and it was funny though because I'd watch them, and it was whoever was programming these clearly knew these episodes and like was kind of a nerd, and it was fun because like they would make like, this is a little bit on the nose, but in the episode where like Mr. Burns dates the character voiced by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, he sees that he will find love on Flag Day in a fortune cookie, and they actually aired that on Flag Day, which is funny. Like I only happen to know it was Flag Day because that was the day and I saw it on the calendar. Given that Americans, we don't really do like a ton for Flag Day. Yeah. But it's funny. I mean, it was just one of those things of like, you have a couple opportunities that like, especially like, it'll just be one of those things of, if that episode takes place on, April 5th, randomly, like sometimes that's the episode that airs on April 5th. And it's like somebody just happened to put it on there, and it's just kind of fun that happens.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody works at Disney or there's a team of programmers choosing the episodes, because I was shocked when I worked at NPR to find out that someone does program all the classical music and all the indie artists and stuff. Like someone sits down and picks all those songs.
Well, and I'm sure at this point, they've put every episode through an AI skimmer type thing, and they basically have found...
They've logged it, every single word.
I'm sure they found roughly 30 episodes per day, that like just via their various tags and words are applicable to whatever, even if they just start, playing episodes that take place on a Saturday, only on Saturdays, or something. Like there's a lot of opportunity, just also when you have, 700-800 episodes. I don't even know the count at this point, but there's a lot.
It's funny, talking about this right now is making me realize there's this job in reality TV called a logger, and you literally just type out every keyword that someone says when you've been filming. So, and you put it into a database, so you can be like, you know, on Drag Race, we want to develop this storyline of someone always wearing blue dresses, and then they can just search blue dress, and every time a character or a queen says blue dress, they can find that clip.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate AI may have put that job out of business, because
right.
I feel like now AI can skim the words, and then, because a logger doesn't just what's it called, transcribe, but they also like have to put it into a chart and categorize it and organize it all. Do I know words? And then, but AI can do all of that for them now, so that job might be gone.
That is interesting, because I mean, at least even then I know.
And again, I hate AI.
Well, like, but even like pre AI, like when I just in video production, I remember there were some plugins for Premiere that could basically auto transcribe the speech. Yeah. And then the easy thing was like then you could literally search through the transcript and click on a word, and it would take you to that point in the edit really quickly, and it was like, oh, that is fantastic, especially if you're building like a behind the scenes kind of thing where you have to make a couple Frankenbites, whatever. Like it's a really great ability. But it's funny because I feel like I don't really hear anyone talk about it. That might just be a standard feature at this point. But at the time, it was like this crazy plug-in. And it was,
it's funny too, because we always used to joke and call loggers night shift, because they have to do all their work between filming. And so loggers usually worked from like 7 o'clock till 5 in the morning. Like they worked a night shift, logging all of the footage that was filmed that day with words. And now that I'm thinking about it too, I wonder if medical transcribers have gone out of business, because that was like the original work from home career that you could do. A friend of ours, I remember she went to like school, trained for it, got certified in medical transcribing, because you would just get these little tapes of doctor's notes.
Dictation is a thing.
Yeah, dictation. And I remember I never knew how it worked, but it's a whole system, and it comes with a little pedal like a sewing machine or like a car, and you just press the gas and you transcribe, and it's so funny to me.
I grew up in a world
that
where
might all be gone now.
My mom would often take dictation, I think, or like have to transcribe based on the old little tapes. And so and as a kid who loved music and just like technology behind music, the idea of like a pedal powered tape deck blew my mind, and I didn't see the point of it, but it's still very cool. But also I was that kid that like literally took the when I got my Teddy Ruxpin, the first thing I did was take the tape out of his back and put in I think it was Def Leppard.
I was gonna say Alice in Chains.
Yeah, no, it was Def Leppard because Hysteria was the moment.
Yeah,
but it's and I was that that was the year at the time. But like seriously, the first thing I wanted to do was just take out the storybook and see what he did when you put music in him.
Right? Did his mouth move?
Oh yeah.
Oh, but to the words?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I think it was one of those things, at least if memory serves, I mean, that was obviously a billion years ago. But I want to say, I think it's just as long as there's noise happening, like he's sort of animated, a little bit.
Speaking of tapes, literally not 20 minutes ago, I saw a TikTok. Did you know this? And I feel like you worked in the music industry, so you might.
Yeah.
You're also a big fan. Did you know that Madonna's Like a Prayer tape, the insert came patchouli scented? Did you know that? Oh,
I remember hearing about that, and it's because I've read about it and I've forgotten, because also I think as a kid I had the cassette. That was like the one I had, but I don't remember a scent. But also, I mean, as a kid, I don't think I could have. Even then, I still will walk around and be like, something smells like, and often it smells to me like the edge of pickles, and then you're like, that's patchouli, and I'm like, is it? Like, it's funny because I feel like I still can't really fully identify it. It's usually just like the edge of another smell to me.
Yeah. Well, and also I don't think I was smelling everything like I do now. You put it in front of me, I'm going to smell it. Okay. Yeah, I love a smell.
It's not I don't think it was my instinct to like take the tape, put it in the tape deck, and take out the, accordion insert and huff it. Like,
although I feel like if it was scented from the factory, you would just smell it upon opening. But also, come to think of it, I don't think we had that tape. I don't think I ever had that tape growing up. My dad was a huge Madonna fan, but I don't think we had that tape.
Well, and even then, though, it's like there's that same thing of I remember there was some records where it was like I think it was Karen Elson who had
the peach.
Yeah, like peach scented.
Had it, remember?
Yeah, but it's funny. I remember like looking at the Discogs entry for it, and it was like peach scented vinyl, and somebody in the comments was like, I worked on this, and we literally sprayed the paper insert with like body mist.
Yeah,
and that
it
was
went away.
They were like, so yeah, if you smelled it, it was trace amounts of it. Like the vinyl wasn't scented itself.
Yeah.
Like literally, we sprayed a thing, put it in the thing, and that was over. And so that's like where I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna call bullshit on a lot of scented things.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like that's
Just
kind of a
gimmicks
little bit of a
in
gimmick.
general.
Yeah.
Like I've the older I get, the like less into gimmicks I get. Like there's a bagel shop here in Seattle. I don't need to name them. You'll probably know them. But like their whole shtick is that we don't cut bagels and we don't toast them. It's a tear and share system.
Oh no, that sounds awful.
I think they only sell bagels by sixes. Like you have to buy 6 and you're supposed to tear them and share them and dip them in your schmear. And I'm like, oh, come on.
No.
Just slice it and
I like
toast
a toast.
it. Stop being
I like
weird.
a toasted bagel.
Yeah.
No, that's unacceptable
We don't
to
need
me.
your gimmick.
Yeah, no. That's not how you eat a bagel.
Right? I mean,
That's not what bagels are.
however you want to put food in your body is your decision. But like, if you're going to be a bagel shop, you need to slice them and toast them, sir.
Right? I mean, that's almost just like a shitty mall pretzel.
Yeah.
Like a bad version of it.
It just feels pretentious. It just feels like, oh, yuck.
Yeah.
And like the lines are out the door and it's always busy. So
Yeah.
like
I don't want to yuck anybody's yums, but ew, no.
Yeah.
But it's funny because even like seriously, I love a limited edition thing. I love a special version of something.
That I love.
But some gimmicks are too far. Like for example, like, and this is a thing that maybe when the right record comes out, I'll be excited about it. But there have been perfect applications of it, and I don't want them. Filled records,
liquid.
do not want, or some are filled with sand. Do not want.
Oh, I've never seen a sand. I've only seen the Saltburn and the.
I think there was a Dune version that was a Dune that was filled with sand.
That's funny.
And then yeah, like Saltburn had bath water, and Mortal Kombat's done blood. I want to say there was also
the first one I ever saw was Jack White's, or Jack White did it. Was it for? Yeah, it was Jack White. It was for Record Store Day.
Oh, but yeah, I was like, because I've seen. I think one of the first water filled ones I ever saw was either like Mortal Kombat, or it was another like blood related thing. There was the 28 Days Later EP got reprinted by like Enjoy the Ride. They love a filled record, and it's those things where like first off like you can only play them on a flat turntable, which that's fine. Like I have a vertical turntable,
which is like such an anomaly.
Which is I recognize I'm a weirdo on that one, but like also it's like I wouldn't want to store it with my other records in case it leaks.
Right?
Like there's just a lot of stuff there that like
if it like somehow dries out or solidifies, does that ruin the weight of the record? Like it will ever spin evenly again?
Right. Well, and it's a thing where like they are like double thick because it's literally 2 records just kind of melted together. And yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where like I bought her DVDs back in the day that had like the fluid pouch on the front with the little blood filling. Because I had that for What the Hills Have Eyes remake. And I actually pulled that DVD out a little bit ago and looked at it, and like the water in there still there, but all of the red that made the blood that was like separate water is now like almost like just little dark flecks of powder at the bottom, almost like pepper, it looks like. But like they somehow concentrated these little things. And so I literally just took the sleeve off and threw it away. Because I was like, sooner or later, this is just going to break and ruin a bunch of shit.
And this is why we need PBS. Because if you watch 5 seconds of Antiques Roadshow, you'll see that they've been doing these kind of gimmicks for years. And the stuff always dries out. The stuff always decolors. It always disappears. Come on, you know? It was there the whole time.
Well, and it's so funny because like as somebody who's going through and right now listening to and cleaning and just kind of going through the entire record collection that we have, it's funny, like there's some records where it's like, they're old, like there was a old, Bette Midler Divine Miss M original, probably from 1970. And
do you wanna dance and hold my hand?
Is that on
was? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My mom used to sing that song. That was one of my baby songs.
And like, it's we had it in like an outer sleeve. I pulled it out and it still had the original shrink on it. And I was like, okay, fun that it's still here. Gone. I don't keep original shrink on things. And
rare.
Well, because a lot of times
Kitty's got claws.
Well, here's a fun fact for, like the problem with shrink. Shrink wrap is meant to shrink. That's that's both a feature and a bug here.
It's in the name.
It's the goal of it, and it makes it great for doing that. But like, let's say you leave the shrink on your record and you only open it at the edge. So now you got this thing that's holding the sleeve, and then if any sort of heat continues to hit it, it's going to keep tightening. And if that's the case, then basically it's going to start squeezing the top and bottom, creating a bow
warp
and introducing warps potentially.
How funny if somebody in the comments was like, Actually, shrink wrap is named after Jeff Shrink, the guy who invented it. Like, wouldn't that be funny?
Right, that'd be crazy.
That would be one of those
and
things.
at least, like, and I mean, who knows? I might be wrong, but at least that's what I've been led to believe with records. But it's funny because even like, you know, there was like a Judy Garland record you bought like at a antique store or something, and it's, you know,
it's quite old.
It's not, well, it's funny, it's from the 80s. I looked.
It was?
And it looks like shit.
I think it was in a fire.
Well, it has some water damage, but also it had original shrink, and the original shrink was tight as hell, and it had made that thing unbelievably bent and shitty.
Good for her.
But it's so funny because like the Bette Midler one is older and in much better shape than that Judy Garland thing is. But the Judy Garland thing looks like it's from the 50s.
That's what I thought it was.
And, oh no,
I thought it was rescued from
the copyright on that compilation
kind of
is like
fire or
1982 or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. No, it's funny talking about gimmicks. Like, I don't mind. I actually like a limited edition thing. I get it. I know that it's just a marketing ploy.
I'm such a sucker.
I don't mind a limited edition at all, especially if it's for a good product. But when you put a gimmick into a limited edition, like, I don't need a gimmick to buy something. And love her to death. She's my number one. But when Lady Gaga had her perfume, I remember the gimmick was that it contains notes of blood and semen. And I was like, okay, great. It's not something you can smell. I mean, I think blood just smells like iron. So it probably had iron in it.
Was she working with, was it Christo? Is that the artist?
Oh, I don't know. Did Christo did blood stuff?
I mean, like, is
Christo wrapped buildings in silk. And he did the big orange gates through Central Park.
Maybe not. Who's the one that did the cover for Load and Reload for Metallica?
Oh, I don't know their name.
I'm going to look that up because I actually have my phone here.
Yeah.
So continue. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I feel like gimmicks like that, I don't really need. And it's not like a real thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not really something you can trace back to the invention of the product. You're not buying it for that. And I will say, one of my biggest regrets in life is that I have never smelled that perfume. And I'm a perfume head. I have a huge collection. I'm obsessed with fragrance. And I've never smelled Lady Gaga's original perfume. Also, it was black. And when you sprayed it, it turned clear. It was like disappearing ink.
Oh.
So, and I don't even know what it's called. I'm a bad Gaga fan. I need to find a bottle. It's probably on eBay.
Oh, Andre Serrano.
Way off.
I was way
Samsonite.
off. Sorry.
But yeah, I remember he photographed blood mixed with semen, right?
Yeah.
And then zoomed way in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He mixed.
That's kind of another gimmick.
Yeah.
You know, when they're like, this painting contains mud from Machu Picchu. And you're like, okay, great.
Yeah.
I can't tell, and I don't see it.
The one time
you could be fully lying to me.
The one time I'm going to believe you that really matters is when I'm eating the pizza at La Monica's in Westwood because the dough is from New York.
And I don't believe it or care.
It's the one time I will go along with you because that pizza's fucking incredible.
It's really good, but they're like, we fly the dough in from New York. Okay.
I buy it.
Yeah, we have flour and water in California. We can make dough.
It's not the same.
I think it is. What I'm saying is, don't throw a gimmick at me, or I'll throw it right back. I'll hold still. You have a baby hair in your face.
Then we're gonna remember that next time T Swift releases a whole bunch of garbage.
What do you mean?
When she releases something like, you know, in 1,000 versions or whatever. Taylor Swift.
I only ever buy one version.
I know you're actually really good about that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I am. I usually buy the prettiest color because she does every color known to man.
Because I always make a joke every single time we're at any record store. I was like, oh, do you want one of the other 3 covers of Midnight's? Because those are all hitting the used bins right now. Which is what's surprising to me is that we aren't seeing more of the original Tortured Poets.
Yeah.
Although a lot of those hit the used bin before the complete did.
Well, it's only been a year.
Yeah, but a lot of those, like, it's funny. I think a lot of those hit the used bins because people were buying. It's funny, there's a lot of mostly people turning in the manuscript. I think trying to get the other bonus tracks.
Yeah,
I think was the thing. So anyway,
the Alchemist. Wait, no, that's
Black Dog.
Yeah, well, I forget the versions. But anyway, yeah, I mean, if you want a variant hunt, that's up to you. I love a collection. Don't get me wrong. You know I love a collection, but I don't need it.
Yeah. Well, and it bums me out actually on the Gaga Mayhem situation that like the other bonus track, because like we got the version with one of the bonus tracks from her web store, but the other version with the bonus track is exclusive to Target, and we're not shopping that right now. That sucks.
Obviously she will do a deluxe because, like we said in the past, deluxe is like the new encore. Like people know what's going to happen, so you just stick around.
Well,
everyone's just automatically doing a deluxe.
And it is funny if you look at the pressings of Mayhem, the bonus tracks, like the version on ours is literally on, I think, side.
It's mixed into the lineup.
Yeah, it's like
it's not at the end.
It's an additional track on side A, and I want to say,
and it's a really good song that should have been on the album. I don't get it.
And I want to say the other track is an additional track on side B. So technically, they've figured out a way to basically have the same disc take on 2 extra tracks on each side, and then right now it's a 3-sided disc with an etching on the 4th, which means there's an entire extra side available for bonus tracks. So she's basically already made, like, she's already got the real estate for a 2-disc deluxe.
Yeah, because back in the day, I feel like you earned a deluxe. Like, oh, this album was so popular, we're going to release it with 5 more songs. But no, it's just every album gets a deluxe. Katy Perry's new album just came out deluxe. Like, okay.
Right. Well, and
Gwen Stefani's country album that no one listened to on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
That got a deluxe. Okay, girl.
Right. It's a little annoying, and I feel like a sucker buying all of the originals that people I'm actually really excited about, only to have to replace it later. But
well, you don't have to do anything.
I know.
I mean, we have a giant vinyl collection, but I still prefer streaming because I like my AirPods and I like to listen to music whenever I want. I just wish Gaga's bonus tracks were streaming. They're not anywhere. Like, they're only on the vinyls right now, and they're good.
I did find a SoundCloud, I think, that has them both uploaded.
I'm not doing all that work. I'm not going that far. I'm not going to SoundCloud. What is it, 1998?
Hey, some of us are just hip and into the underground scene, yo.
Speaking of hip, we had a very busy morning because we gave Ruby a bath.
Oh, man.
It was bath day. So the 2 things we do to Ruby are trim her nails. We don't have her nails trimmed at the nail trim store anymore because they made us drug her, and I'm not drugging my baby.
And it's crazy expensive.
Yeah, and the price like tripled.
Yeah.
It used to be like $20 and now it's $75.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. We're good.
And plus, like, we have to drug her, and then she's basically kind of fucked up for an entire day.
Yeah.
Like,
and we have to like schedule it and go out of our way. And,
yeah.
So we just bought the nail clippers on the internet, and now we do them ourselves, and we're really good at it.
Yeah, well, I'm thank God he's good at that. I don't know if I'd be able to take on the stress.
He's the holder. I'm the clipper.
Yeah, I hold her and just pet her and talk to her the whole time, and put my immense trust in her because her face is right next to mine.
Luckily, she is not paw sensitive. She's very like paw communicative,
expressive.
Expressive. Like she touches us, she punches us all the time. Yeah. They're like, "Why aren't you petting
She'll
me? Play with me."
She'll sit up and sort of like hit you to be like, "Hey,
it's time for pets."
Yeah.
But yeah, we hold her hand all the time. We play with her paws. We smell her paws because they smell like delicious Fritos.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not really a problem touching her paws. But we did nails last weekend. And then we did bath today because we don't want to torture her twice in one weekend.
Like full spa days are a bit much.
Give her some space.
Yeah.
But poor thing has pit bull skin, which is highly reactive. If you have a pit bull, they are allergic. Their skin is just allergic. They have rashes constantly.
Yeah. They love to lay in the grass and then get the consequences of that.
Yeah.
But also, even then, like even without the grass, her skin is just
she'll just
reactive.
Get little armpit rashes.
Yeah.
But we have special skin shampoo, and we gave her a bath today, and she's so sweet. She's so cute because as soon as you take her collar off, I don't know what it is. Something about dog psychology. I think she thinks the collar is her connection to us and the family. So we always say when we take the collar off, we're like, Ruby, you're still part of the family. She's upset. Like she will lay next to where her collar is on the table. She will smell it.
She gets insanely insecure.
Yeah.
Like she just all of a sudden it's, she hasn't gotten the rose at the end of the episode. She doesn't know if she gets to stay in this family anymore. Mm-hmm. Like just, oh no, everything's in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Like,
and she's just so adorable. And she tries to run away, but we've realized if we just shut all the doors, like we close the basement door, close the bedroom and the office,
just
close all the doors,
the escape routes.
She can't get away. Yeah. And then she's like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah. And then I just pick her up and carry her in.
And she just stands in the tub. Like she wants to get out, but she doesn't like try.
Yeah.
She trembles a little bit, but we had a nice spa day with Ruby.
Right.
And then when she gets out, zoomies to the max.
Yeah. Zoomy palooza.
Just crazy. She wants to play with toys. We give her special bath treats. So she eats her cookies, and then she plays with her toys, and she just goes crazy.
And our goal is to fluff up her neck fur as much as possible to give her a sort of boa kind of effect, but also
almost like a lion mane.
Yeah, to help dry her off.
She gets nice and fluffy, and she smells so good. She's so soft. it makes her, she's already a soft, like velveteen dog.
Yeah.
And it just makes her so soft and delicious. Oh, she's so cute.
Little baby.
But hair everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, I literally had to wash my hands like, I don't know, 5-6 times because I keep petting her and then I keep walking away with my hands just covered
whenever
in
she's
hair.
slightly damp, all over fur. And no one, I did not know this because no one talks about it, but even though she is a very slick haired dog and very soft, she sheds a lot, and the hairs are like micro needles. They will literally splinter into your skin.
Yeah, she's kind of like one of those minimal undercoat dogs, but yeah, her needle hairs are awful. Like we've actually had them in our heels,
soft, but yeah,
where we've had to like get tweezers to remove them because they hurt.
And it's a thing. I've seen like TikToks about it. Like pit bulls, just their fur. I'm worried that I have them like stuck in my eyeball, like behind my eye. You know, have you ever heard that thing about like hair cutters?
Yeah, they're just joining all the microplastics that are in my body. Like,
but apparently barbers have like an exorbitant amount of like tiny little hair nubs behind in the back of their eyeball.
I had not heard that. That's almost
why I'm not a barber.
It's almost that's why
specifically.
Okay, yeah, it's almost like the black lung, the black eye, or something.
Yeah, but and whenever I have a weird cough, all of a sudden I'm like, do I have a ruby hair in my lungs?
Probably.
Am I embolizing?
I really bet you got a bunch, like just from sleeping.
I mean, we call it vitamin R. We always have it in our food. Now it's in our bodies.
There's no escaping. Yeah. But same thing when we had a black pug. No, she didn't have the fluff that a lot of pugs do,
black pugs don't have an undercoat.
Yeah, she didn't have the undercoat to blow out all the time, but that didn't stop her from just dropping a lot of black little straight hairs everywhere. Yeah, like just lots of them.
And between you,
I was like,
human Wookiee,
me and that dog had like matching hair up top. So like,
but also you're a very hairy man.
Yeah,
constantly shedding,
just always
mixed with Ruby. We had
tumbleweeds.
Yeah, we have tumbleweeds of dust bunnies going down the hallway.
Oh yeah,
and in this house too, which Seattle, dustiest city on the planet. I've never lived in a house dustier. What is happening? I feel like I dust constantly. I vacuum always, and we still have dust bunnies in the corners. What's going on? Seattle, why is that a thing? Can someone explain? Please explain.
Seattle, please explain.
Seattle, explain. Another thing that needs to be explained is, first of all, I need to preface, I hate when people seriously say that we're living in a matrix or that they've experienced a wormhole, or
simulation flaw or something.
Yeah, or another dimension or something like that. But we had our first experience with it.
And forgive me, while you tell this story, I'm literally going to look around.
In this very room is where I do my Lego builds. And we got a GoPro a couple weeks ago. I'm taking it back because it is not good for what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm doing my Legos and I moved my desk forgetting that the GoPro was on a tripod in front of my desk. And I knocked it over and it fell over, right? Wasn't even paying attention. I picked it up, finished filming, did my thing. And then I noticed the little door that covers the battery was gone, right?
Yeah.
And it had popped off, and they're removable. Pop off. They're removable. Our bedroom is not that big.
Seriously.
There's not a lot of places for things to go.
The carpet is light colored, and the door is black.
That little battery cover door is gone.
Poof, gone.
It fell into a wormhole. The Matrix absorbed it. I don't know where it is. We have torn this room apart. When that GoPro fell over, that door popped off and has apparently flung into another dimension. It's gone. We cannot find it. I've been crawling around this bedroom for 3 days.
The greatest trick the GoPro door ever pulled was making me think it existed or whatever.
Right? We took the bed apart. We've looked on shelves. It's like, did that thing pop and fly all the way in through the air on top of one of these shelves? No, because we went through everything.
Is it behind your eye?
Maybe it's like ruby hair. That's probably what, I didn't check.
Seriously.
It's probably back there.
Because it is weird. And I even came in as an outside participant or non-participant. And I was just like, let me take a look.
And I thought a second pair of eyes would find it.
And I started literally looking underneath things, and I started looking around corners, and I thought let me look out in the room in case it went out the doorway or something, and basically everywhere I looked it had already been looked at by him. And
I have an elliptical bike right here, right in front of us. It's behind this camera that I use for my fitness. The camera fell next to the elliptical bike, so I was like, oh, maybe it's inside the bike. Nope, I've taken it apart. I've flipped it upside down. I've shook. It's not in there unless the thing is magnetized, and that I don't know. If there's
Yeah.
a magnet in that little door, that somehow it flipped somewhere and is now using a magnet to stick to it. But literally, like, I've looked everywhere. It's gone.
And this is not us saying that our child is perfect, but Ruby has no interest in things like that.
Ruby's never picked up a thing that wasn't a toy in her life.
Like
ever.
she literally doesn't care.
Yeah.
And so she wouldn't have eaten it, and she wouldn't have picked it up or moved it because she literally wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. It's like, that's what's even weirder here is like, it's not something that she would want. We don't have any other animals in here that we're aware of. Like we'll watch, like Pizza Rat came in here and grabbed it.
Something. And I full on CSI'd, like I was doing the like detective in a movie with the pictures with the red strings. I was going through every angle of this bedroom. I was looking ooh, speaking of Ruby.
And she's upset about something.
Blowing up upstairs right now. A dog must have walked by the door.
I was on the floor with a flashlight.
Seriously, it's like back in the day when someone lost a contact during gym and everybody would hit the ground looking for the contact
right?
lens.
We're looking for something that is small and clear. Now we're looking for something that is 3 times that size.
It's like the cap to this Sharpie.
Fucking opaque black.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm my theory right now, my working theory right now, and they'll probably do true crime podcasts about this in the future.
right.
I think it's magnetized. I think there's a little magnet in it.
Well, when the replacement arrives, we can just try putting it on something metal first.
Apparently this battery door cover gets lost a lot because you can just buy them on the internet. And so I just ordered a replacement for $12. That is arriving today because I have to put it back because I'm taking it back to Costco. That camera is leaving this house and it has brought me nothing but pain.
Seriously, it's been
Nothing but strife.
It's been a huge letdown.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. And it's funny because I was earlier singing its praises because like I got used to using like super old ass GoPros and like there's so much tech in these now. Like a lot of add-ons before are just built into it now. It's very cool.
It's very cool. It's a cute little camera. There's a lot of work that goes into using it, and it also the footage isn't what I want.
But
so
at this point,
I'm gonna
like,
take it back anyway.
Given like the overheating nature of it, I mean, is it reliant on you using it underwater or something
like skiing?
Yeah, I guess
like
it
does
has
snow
to
have to be
cold?
involved? Because it kept overheating. But like 10 minutes of usage and it overheats and shuts off. That's not good. And I feel like a lot of people set GoPros up and leave.
Oh, maybe if you have it strapped to your helmet on a motorcycle, the wind keeps it cool.
But I've seen people wear the harness around Disneyland all day. And I'm like, if it's not overheating in the Southern California sun, why is it overheating in my bedroom for 10 minutes?
Right. Well, and especially because like if you're doing a long time lapse, you need it plugged in.
Yeah.
And
GoPro, please explain.
Yeah, if plugging in is what's causing
GoPro,
it to overheat, like what?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, I mean, I'm convinced until the day we move out of this house, we will not find that thing. And it will probably appear somewhere and be like, and it's going to be like I'm going to scream, Rob, oh my God. And he's going to know what that means. And he's going to run downstairs and it will be in my hand.
Or it's one of those like weird magician's tricks and it's somehow underneath one of these record shelves that probably weighs multiple thousands of pounds.
Right.
Or something like just it's somehow impossible.
I mean, at this point, it's who shot JFK? Where's Jimmy Hoffa? What happened to this battery cover?
Yes.
All right. And I'm going to have nightmares about it for the rest of my life until we find that goddamn door. But it's around here somewhere.
Seriously.
If anybody wants to come over and look, feel free. We'll sell tickets.
I feel like I'm going to find it with my heel. Like that's the only way I'm going to find it because like
you would think
I have a weird like magnet for things that are not for foreign bodies in my feet.
Yeah.
And so
oh, that's the other funny thing. So like I never drop Legos. I'm very careful. But I found 2 tiny Lego pieces underneath my Lego station that I don't remember ever dropping because I'm not a Lego dropper. So I can find 2 minuscule Lego pieces, but I can't find this gigantic battery door. It's going to kill me. I hope that there's some sort of afterlife where you can see a replay of your life because I need to know what happened to this battery door.
Like seriously, I keep looking around just being like maybe this will be the time.
We've looked everywhere, right?
I hate this.
Yeah. But all right. Well, you know what I don't hate? Our final segment, which is What's Your Order? What's Your Order? Sung on a theremin. We have here our handbook for the recently deceased popcorn tin filled with ideas that we're going to talk about. Because it used to be, what's your favorite fast food order? But we went through those restaurants years ago. There hasn't been a restaurant order of these pots in years. All right. So today's What's Your Order that we are going to discuss. Watch. It's like, what's your favorite cartoon?
Favorite director.
Oh, that's fun. Beep, 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 beep. Well,
man, I don't even know if I have a favorite director anymore.
I mean,
You should go first.
You're probably going to do a list. See, normally I do a list. I'm a lister. I can never just pick one. I've always got to do a top 3.
Yeah.
But for this, I think I can just do a top 1 because that's what I was thinking when I made the piece.
Well, you should go first. I'm going to think.
All right. My favorite director is David Fincher.
Duh.
And he's never made a movie I don't like. I think he's a great person. I think he's very smart. I heard he's a great director to work with. Like, I heard he's like a one and done shot kind of director.
Oh, no. Really? I've heard he's like a crazy perfectionist.
Oh, no. I heard it's like, we got the shot. Let's move on.
Oh, no. I heard he's often like, I mean, at least I
thought that was Soderbergh.
No, Soderbergh, if anything, is the one who's like, digital, let's go. You did your own makeup. Let's, we gotta keep moving. But it's, I think, maybe it depends on what movie Fincher's doing. Cause I know like Panic Room was something that was pre-pro'd to death.
Yeah.
And like, cause that movie is also highly technical.
Maybe I made that up, but I thought he was like, we got the shot. Let's move on.
I've heard he's like Kubrick level of perfection.
Let's do 15 shots.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. Who knows? But I love all of his work. I love his style. I love his technique. I love that he and Brad Pitt are apparently best friends because they work together so frequently. I love that he filmed a movie in my college town. He filmed Gone Girl where I went to college. And I was like, great. 10 years after I graduate college, they finally do something cool in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's funny because
I got to do that tour with you.
Yeah, we went to like, we did our own little mini premiere. And we went to the house and the bar that they filmed at where Carrie Coon worked.
Yeah.
Your favorite actress.
I love her so much.
And yeah, the bar is still there.
Is it?
Obviously the house is still there because it was just a house in a suburb. But yeah, I love David Fincher. Benjamin Button is, like I said, on the favorite movie, What's Your Order? Benjamin Button is my top 3 favorite movies. And I just love watching David Fincher films. I think they're great.
Yeah, well, it's funny because like
he loves the book adaptation. That's his like new thing. He's always just adapting now. That's his thing.
Yeah, well, it's like, or telling, I guess, true stories like Mank.
Yeah,
but it's funny because I was trying to like right now, like I'm trying to cheat, and I'm looking at the Blu-ray collection, just sorting by director to see which ones we have like the most of. And it's funny because like one of the directors we have the most of is like Robert Zemeckis, whom it's funny because I was thinking like I was trying to think my favorite directors I think are probably people who are extremely varied in their output at this point. And like Zemeckis is an interesting one. Not my favorite though. Some of his work's very cool.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I was gonna say I think, and this is just going off of what my favorite movie is at this point, I would say is probably Mike Nichols.
That's a good one.
And it's largely I think because he is such a varied director. He's done so much. Because like even just recently he did like not recently. It's funny. Recently it was on Framed, which is why it's top of mind, and we watched it recently. He directed Working Girl.
Mm-hmm.
His first movie he directed was Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which is
good.
So good. And then he did The Graduate, and like he directed What Planet Are You From with Gary Shandling. Like he's done just all sorts.
Do we have all of his works?
No, there's a lot. But he also directed the HBO miniseries of Angels in America. Like,
oh yeah,
like Mike Nichols has done a just insane amount of work across a ton of genres, and so I it's funny because I feel like just and the Graduate is such a strong. Has such a strong style and such a strong voice especially for the 60s, and it kind of redefined how some movies work. Like I love that movie so much, and so I think that just he's visionary in that way.
What was the Jude Law one where you used the Damien Rice album as a soundtrack? Natalie Portman.
Closer. Yeah, that's another Mike Nichols.
I need to watch that again because I haven't watched that since it came out. And that's literally, that Damien Rice album is one of my favorite albums of music ever created in the history of music.
I want to say The Blower's Daughter is only in it just once, or it was in...
The whole soundtrack is Damien Rice, yeah. It's all from that album. And I remember seeing in an interview Mike Nichols talking about, like, I heard that album and knew that I had to make a movie with it. And yeah, it's just... I love that movie. And I love that soundtrack. And yeah, he's a great director. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't say like Ari Aster. You love his stuff. Or the other one, Mother.
No, and it's so funny because like
what is his name?
Darren Aronofsky. Well, it's funny because I used to absolutely just like adore Aronofsky, but now I kind of realized that he's a little much of just like a little one note. He's a little bit of just a provocateur, which sometimes he's really great, but like I'm sorry, like, and I haven't even seen it, so I want to be super judgy ahead of time, but like I don't know if you can keep like favorite director fully if you've made Noah.
Oh yeah, we've never seen that.
Yeah,
and
like,
The Whale was not good.
Well, I didn't see. But yeah, it's also like an Ari Aster. It's like super promising, and I love his work. But he's made 4 movies.
Yeah.
All right, no, 3. Wait, 3? Midsummer.
Oh, besides his
Hereditary,
film school one before
Beau is
Midsommar.
Afraid. He's done 3.
Which is Beau is Afraid the one his film school one was turned into? Like they refilmed it.
Oh, he made a short of Beau is Afraid, or just called Beau. But I'm trying to think if he's done any other stuff that's gotten blown up. No, it's just the one that's
those.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What was I going to say? I was going to talk about a movie we were just talking about, and I lost it. But yeah. Oh, The Whale. That's another thing. We were talking about gimmicks earlier. I feel like movies are starting to get to a gimmicky point where it's just trauma porn, where it's just like the whole thing is sad. It's like, how sad can we make these actors? How sad can we make a story? How bad can we make people feel when they leave the theater? And like, yeah, there's a story there. I mean, The Whale is based on a play, and I think it's a story that makes more sense to see live and see a play and be acted in front of you. But as a movie, it just feels gimmicky, and it just feels like torture porn. And I'm just like, okay, this was very sad. Well,
and it's funny because with Aronofsky, at least, like, I don't know, a lot of it was like, I guess, the time of my life when I saw it. Not to say I had the time of my life. It's like the point in my life in which I saw it. Like Requiem for a Dream, I saw when I was 17 in a theater. And like at that point, I had no idea that a movie was capable of shit like that. Like that movie just beat the crap out of me, and it was like kind of eye opening because I just it was this marvel to me. I'd never seen a movie kind of push my buttons so hard, and so like it's at times I kind of really appreciate that, and like with The Whale, because like as you said, it's based on something else, and so I get like. Sometimes if you feel it's an important enough story, like this is me bringing it to a movie theater size audience instead of people who only go to plays, which I can appreciate. But I don't know if anyone really needed to know the story of The Whale beyond that. And yeah, like, of course I haven't seen it. It looked kind of unappealing to me, and like there wasn't anything really necessarily rewarding.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just torture porn. It just makes you sad for sad's sake.
Well, and there's like, and not to call you out, but it is hilarious given that like based on book talk, and you got swept up in it, and you bought A Little Life, and I know you keep meaning to read it, but every person on that movie, or every person I've ever heard talk about that book, no one says in any way that it's redeemable because of it. They just say that it is oppressively sad.
Well, see, that's another
all
thing.
I've heard.
I think it makes sense in a book, but like watching it in a movie just feels like I've heard no one wants to adapt A Little Life because of that, but like it makes sense as a book, and you absorb it on your own of your own will, and you determine how it affects you that way. But like as a movie, it's a totally different thing. It's like Adolescence on Netflix, which I highly recommend. It's really cool. Because each episode is one shot. It's all acting all the time. It's very technically cool. But it's kind of, when I think back of it, I was like, oh, that was kind of just trauma porn. Like that was just like sad for sad's sake. But the acting is amazing. Like if you just want to watch actors act and like a technical thing happen, I highly recommend Adolescence on Netflix. But it's sad. It's just sad for sad.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. And I'm starting to think about like now that I've kind of upped my reading and stuff, I've kind of actually, I think, decided where I want to put my efforts. And it is funny because like you say, like trauma porn, like if it's a movie or a TV show, fine, bring it on. I don't care. I'm putting in zero effort here. I'm literally sitting and watching.
Yeah.
But however, I think I have realized like if you want to put me through that in a book, sorry, I'm putting in work to read this. Like that's why I will likely never read A Little Life. Like if it's amazing, maybe, but like all I've heard is just that it's a bummer. And that sounds like a really poor use of my energy to read and interpret and internalize that to then process how sad it is.
That's why I feel like of all media, books are the ones I feel the most ownership of, and like too, because you work so hard to complete a book.
But I know, but like that's
like you work so hard to read it. No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't want to put in that work.
Don't invest it if you don't want to do that, because it is like reading a book is an investment. Because
like
that's why I got so mad when I read Wicked the book. Wicked the book is awful. And when I finished it, I threw it across the room. I was so mad, and it's so long, and there are so many words, and it was bad.
Well, do you think that also you might have just been a different person 20 years ago?
Nope.
Okay, then.
No, you're right.
Because like I just finished that book, We Used to Live Here, based on everybody mentioning it, based on the creepy story of that teenage girl who showed up at our doorstep at 10:30 in the morning. And it's one of those books that was like super promising premise, lackluster ending or lackluster, result for me. And it's funny because I was on board for a minute, but I realized very quickly, I was like, oh my God, I'm so frustrated by this situation that like, it's hard for me to keep reading because like I've already like, and it's fine. I'm normally willing to kind of park the disbelief and go along for the ride. But this is one where I was like, I'm literally putting in effort reading these things and imagining it and putting in the time. And like, at this point, I'm infuriated. Yeah. And then of course, like it finally like went off into a place where I was like, okay, cool. This is like beyond enough that I can just read this and enjoy this. But by the time I was done, I was like, oh, like, I hate to say it felt like a waste of my time, but like, it's hard to read a book that you didn't like by the time it's done, where you're like, oh, that took more of me.
Yeah.
Then like I could have sat through a 90-minute movie and been like, yeah, it was a movie.
Well, it's like we were talking, I feel like the one kind of media that you can't multitask during is reading. I mean, you could maybe churn butter with your feet with one of those butter churners, but other than that, you can't really do anything while you're physically reading a book.
Yeah,
but
I can listen to music.
Yeah,
like, but only often specific music.
Yeah, and not really like take the music in. It's more of a background noise kind of thing.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's why I want to be bigger on ear reading books with Audible, because then I can do Legos during it. I can clean the house. I can ride my bike. I can do anything. You can multitask when you listen to a book, but reading a book, it's pretty much the only thing you can do.
I was like, I don't like multitasking during
maybe drink
during audiobooks. Like, and it'd be one thing if I was like vacuuming a floor or doing something completely mindless, like, because like if I'm doing something, it's like I'm alphabetizing. I'm not gonna be able to listen to a book while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like I often find that the best kind of while I'm doing other shit listening is podcasts, because those I'm not super particular if I hear every single detail, but like a book, even if I'm listening to an audiobook while driving, all of a sudden, like, which I'm glad that I'm paying attention to the road, but I will realize I was like, I haven't listened to the last 45 seconds. They've just been talking. Let me go back until I recognize what they said, and I can actually like listen again instead of just hear.
Luckily, my brain can process listening and multitasking at the same time.
Well, it's the same thing that we talked about, though. Like when you start just glossing over the words on a page and you go to the next thing, you're like, wait, hold on. Yeah. I've been listening to something while reading in quote fingers, and like I've really taken in nothing. Let me go back.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So favorite director, David Fincher. Favorite director for you, Mike Nichols. I think that's a good duo.
Yeah.
Did I say Steven Fincher or David Fincher?
You got it.
Okay. See, I wasn't paying attention to what I was saying, and I had to go back.
Right. See, it happens.
But all right, well,
Mr. I can multitask and do the thing.
Let's go see what that dog was barking at, huh?
I'm sure that dog is long gone.
Oh, I wonder if it's the back door to my GoPro camera.
Whoa!
I wonder if it's the battery door to the GoPro that was just delivered, because I will find that goddamn door if it's the last thing I do. Probably will be the last thing I ever do. But yeah. All right, well, thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and I hope you guys are having a great week. Your homework assignment is to go watch a Fincher movie or a Nichols movie or both, and let us know what you think. But I hope you guys are having a great day out there. We'll see you next week. All right, we love you. Goodbye.
Enjoy that director's print of Alien 3.
Okay.
Okay. No, it's like you cut before that probably.
Okay, bye.
Bye.